Hey there! Welcome to our strange little corner of forgotten history. If you're someone who loves the bizarre, the quirky, and the wait, they really did that, moments of the past, you're in the right place. Before we dive into the weird world of Victorian postal services, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. It's genuinely incredible to see how far this little history train travels. Now settle in, grab a warm drink, and dim the lights. Let's unravel one of the strangest tales of the 19th century, the time people sent cats through the mail. To understand how this madness even started, we need to travel back to 19th century Britain, a time of steam engines, lace gloves, top hats, and Queen Victoria's iron rule. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, reshaping society. But amidst the noise and coal smoke, something else was quietly revolutionizing the country: the post. The British postal system, once slow and clunky, became a marvel of efficiency by the mid-1800s. The uniform penny post of 1840 changed everything. For a single penny, anyone could send a letter anywhere in the country. It democratized communication and led to a postal boom. Victorians, already curious and quirky, now had a new toy to play with. With the birth of the penny post, the Royal Mail exploded in popularity. Trains started carrying mail faster than ever. Mailboxes began to dot every village and town. Suddenly, sending parcels wasn't just for the wealthy, it became a common part of life. And as always, when you give the public access to something powerful, they find ways to experiment. And the Victorians? They were nothing if not creatively odd. In 1883, the British Post Office launched a new initiative: parcel post. Now you could send not just letters, but packages. Books, pies, hats, jars of jam, even furniture, and animals. You see, there wasn't yet a hard, fast rule about what could or couldn't be posted, so people did what people do best. They pushed the boundaries. Postal regulations at the time were surprisingly vague. They allowed for the sending of livestock of moderate size. Chickens, rabbits, and pigeons were common. They were often sent for breeding, shows, or markets. But what about pets? What about cats? At first, it sounds absurd. Who would want to post a cat? But consider the logic. Maybe you lived in a rural village and found a perfect tabby for your cousin in London. Trains were expensive, but parcel post was cheap. So some people started wrapping cats, yes, live cats, in ventilated crates and mailing them. Because why not? It might sound like urban legend, but there's actual documentation. One widely cited record comes from the British Post Office archives. In it, a clerk notes the arrival of a package, slightly furry, slightly annoyed, containing a live cat sent by parcel post. Other anecdotes popped up in Victorian newspapers. Local stories told of cats being mailed across counties for tuppence. Sometimes they arrived perfectly fine. Other times, not so much. Eventually, the post office started catching on. As more stories of posted pets circulated, officials scratched their heads. Should this really be allowed? They began drafting clearer guidelines. By the early 1900s, rules were tightened. You could still send animals, but they had to be certain types, usually birds or small game, and packaged with great care. Cats, slowly but surely, were dropped from the list. Even in the 19th century, people had questions. Was it cruel? Was it safe? Animal welfare groups began to take a stand. The RSPCA, founded in 1824, grew more vocal. They argued that animals deserved better than a bumpy ride in a dark crate. Newspapers picked up the debate. Letters to the editor poured in. Some thought it was harmless fun. Others saw it as needless cruelty. Despite controversy, the stories made for great headlines. The idea of a cat arriving with the morning mail was just too good for editors to resist. Cartoons were drawn. Poems were penned. One particularly famous limerick read, "A kitty from Kent in a parcel was sent through railways and carts on a curious bent. Though boxed and confined, she arrived just in time to purr and to stretch with content." But seriously, why cats? Dogs were larger, noisier, harder to contain. Birds were fragile. Cats were just the right size, self-cleaning, and, let's face it, pretty low maintenance. To some Victorians, sending a cat was just another quirky use of the amazing new mail system, a feline gift, a show animal, or just a mischievous stunt. There's even evidence that some cats were used semi-officially. Postmasters in remote towns sometimes kept cats to control mice in post offices. When one cat died or retired, another might be imported via mail from a neighboring town. Yes, that's right. Some cats were transferred between post offices like little furry employees. Not all mailed cats were living. Victorian taxidermy was a booming industry. Some pet owners, devastated by loss, would mail their deceased companions to skilled taxidermists. Stuffed cats arrived back days later, mounted, brushed, and oddly lifelike. A whole second life, courtesy of the mail. These stories speak to something deeper. The Victorian obsession with innovation, efficiency, and control. If the mail could carry your letters, your jam jars, your hats, why not your cat? It was an age of experimentation, a little chaotic, a little mad, and deeply fascinating. As more stories surfaced, public reaction shifted. What once seemed amusing started to feel unsettling. The novelty wore off. Animal protection laws evolved, and slowly the era of feline parcel service came to an end. Today, you'll find these tales buried in dusty newspaper clippings and post office logs. They're footnotes in postal history, but they reveal so much about the human spirit, our creativity, our oddness, and our love for pushing limits. It may seem like a relic of the past, but echoes remain. Stories of people mailing bizarre items still pop up. A coconut from Hawaii, a brick with no box. And yes, people still joke about mailing their cat. But now we know better, mostly. So what can we take away from this strange little saga? 1. People have always been weird, gloriously, hilariously weird. 2. Every system, no matter how efficient, invites experimentation. And 3. Always check your mailbox. You never know what might show up. The era of mailing cats ended as quickly as it began, but the memory lingers, quirky, faintly absurd, and deeply human. It's a testament to an age where nothing seemed impossible and everything, no matter how strange, was worth a try. Thanks for sticking with me through this wonderfully bizarre tale. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's the weirdest thing you would send by post if no one could stop you? Until next time, stay curious, stay weird, and I'll see you in the next one.